Hello. In this module, we will be discussing the topic groups. So, groups, let's first understand what exactly are groups. We all know that humans are social animals, and therefore, groups are an integral and central part of everyone's life. At any given time, we are members of very many different groups. For example, when we are young, we are a part or our first group would be our family. When we go to school, the student association or your friends at school would be your group. When you start working, you will have work groups or your colleagues will be a part of your group. And at the same time, you might develop different interests, and with those interests, you might join different clubs, and that is also a type of a group. So, a group, if we have to define it, it would be a collection of two or more individuals who are interacting and interdependent and who have come together to achieve a particular common objective. So you can see in the pictures, these are all different types of groups that we encounter in everyday life. Now let's understand what are the different types of groups. Groups can be formal and they can be informal. So, when we talk about formal groups, different types of formal groups would be command group, task group, and functional group. And when we talk about informal groups, there are interest groups, friendship groups, and reference groups. So, let's understand each type of these groups in little detail. So, when we talk about command groups are basically they are specified in the organizational chart. There's a hierarchy in an organization, and you have to take the command of your superior. That would be a part of your command group. That is also a type of group. For example, you can take, let's say, a marketing department or a finance department in an organization. So you will have a particular hierarchy that has to be followed. For example, you will have your vice president, your regional head, then your managers, your executive. So, in that sequence, you have to bear the hierarchy, and that is a type of a group which is known as command group. Now, in an academic department, let's say the dean, then the HOD, the professors, the associate and assistant professors, they could form a command group. Now, when we talk about command groups, the leaders they play an important role in the command group, and also in command groups they are formed for indefinite time. There is not for a specific period of time; they are formed for a very long period of time. And here the goals are not very specific in nature. These groups are formed just out of the hierarchy and to perform certain different types of tasks related to that kind of group. When we talk about task groups they consist of people who work together so that they can achieve a common task. There's a task given at hand, and to perform those tasks, we form a task group. Now, task groups they are formed for a definite period of time, and there are very specific goals that have to be performed when we talk about task groups. For example, if we take an example of, let's say, an academic group, uh, under the academic group in an organization or in a college, let's say university, designing a syllabus. So different deans of or different HODs of a particular, let's say, class, they will come together to design, let's say, the syllabus for a semester. That could be a task. So here all the deans or all the HODs would form one group or a task group to perform a task. Let's say, for example, if we talk about a marketing department, so all the regional heads, and there's a new product launch which is coming up, let's say in India. So all the different states, regional heads of different states would come together and prepare, let's say, for a new product launch together. So that is a task at hand, and they would form a task group. When we talk about functional groups, now functional groups they are created by the organization to accomplish specific goals, and the time period here is not specific. So it's an unspecified time period, but the goals here are specific. So even if the current goals or the current task they are over, but they will continue to be a part of the group. They will be a they will accomplish goals. For example, let's say in a university, the academic department and the accounts department, so they are two different departments, two different groups, but they function together in a way that for the academic department, let's say the salaries are being given by the accounts department, so they will be in touch with each other for accomplishing this particular purpose. And the goal is specific, but the time period is not very specific. It's for an unspecified time frame. So that could be a functional group that is performing together. So these are the different types of formal groups that we encounter in our day to day life. Now, when we talk about informal groups, we have the interest groups, we have the friendship groups, and reference groups. So, informal groups, they are formed out of, let's say, common interest, similar social activities they are doing, or they have an influence on each other, and it is not rigid or it is not mandatory in nature, and they're just formed out of certain reasons that they're formed. So, interest groups, when we talk about those, as the name suggests, they are formed because the members they have common interests. So for example, if you like to study French language, so that could be a group that you can form where you all the group members love to study French. Or let's say a group of friends love to play football, so they can form a group where they can play football together. So that is an interest group where they have a common interest, and because of which they formed a group. When we talk about friendship groups, they're the let's say the interests might not be similar, but they enjoy each other's company, or let's say they have social activities that they enjoy doing together, or they have, let's say, some kind of political beliefs or religious values which hold them together or which makes them a part of a group. So these are called the friendship groups. And then we have reference groups. Reference groups basically have strong influence on members' behavior. So and these groups are very voluntary in nature. You might be a part of the group, and you would love to be a part of certain kind of group, and that is how you associate yourself with the group. For example, let's say an elite club you want to join, for example a Rotary club or a Lions club you wish to join. So there people join for the purpose because they can influence each other's behavior in that particular group. So that kind of committee or voluntary activity, or you join some NGO, so that could also be a type of a reference group where you influence other members behavior, and that is why you join that group. A religious group could also be a reference group. So these are all informal groups, and that is how we distinguish between formal and different types of informal groups. Now, why do we join groups? What are the reasons? Different reasons. So, the main reasons for joining groups are, first is you get a sense of security when you join a group. You don't want to be left out. For example, you join a new organization. You want to become a part of the group that you have interest in or you are inclined towards. One of the reason is so that you don't feel secluded, you don't feel alone, you feel a part of the group, so that you can have a sense of belonging, you can have a sense of security. And that is one reason why anybody would love to join a group. Another reason for joining a group would be to showcase your status. For example, people join various prestigious groups, as I discussed, like Lions Group, or let's say some club membership, prestigious club membership, they would join so that they can showcase their status in the society, among different members of the society, that where they stand in the society. That is also one of the reasons why people would join a group. Another reason for joining a group would be self esteem. People, let's say, for example, in this picture, you can see somebody having body issues and facing low self esteem because of her body issues, might join a group with people having similar body issues, so that she can feel a part of a group where she can improve or work upon her self esteem. She can become better with her self esteem. Now, another reason for joining a group would be affiliation. And the affiliation stands for something that you are inclined towards, or you are interested in. So you might join a group because you want to be affiliated to something. You want to be attached or associated with something. it could be a common task, it could be a common goal, it could be an objective, or it can be, let's say, some work related matter also. So because of that affiliation, you might also join a group. Another important reason why people join a group is power. So, just to achieve that sense of power, people join group. For example, a person might want to become, let's say, a member of parliament. Why he would love to do that? Because he want to achieve a sense of power among a community, because that position will give him some power in the society, and that is one reason why he would join a group, to inflict his power on the other members of the society. Another reason for joining a group would be to achieve a certain goal. So, let's say in a company, the marketing team is coming up with a product launch, a new product development they have done, and they have to achieve this particular goal of developing a new product or launching a new product. So, that could also be a reason why they have joined the group for a particular goal that they have to achieve. Or let's say a sports team, a cricket team, they want to win a World Cup, and that could be a reason why they have joined that particular team, so that they can achieve a goal of winning the World Cup. So these are some of the reasons why people join groups. Then, what are the stages of group development? There are various stages. There are five stages in general, and these five stages were given, or the basically it has evolved into five stages, but it was earlier developed into a four-stage model of group development, and it was first introduced in 1965 by Bruce Struckman, and he suggested the model of forming, storming, norming, and adjourning. But later on, the process of adjourning was also added to this model. And the things to remember in this particular group development model is that they do not always proceed from one stage to another clearly. And secondly, sometimes the stages overlap. They are not individual stages, but they some stages go simultaneously with each other. So let's understand what are these five stages of group development. So the first stage is forming stage. So here, when people come together, they form a group. Here they try to understand or comprehend where they stand in the group and how people are perceiving them in the group. So it's more of a very nascent stage, very beginning of the stage, and people are very cautious how they interact with each other, how people will perceive them. So they're very cautious in their communication and in their interactions. Here, the relationships are also not very natural, very superficial and very formal type of behavior they will introduce to other members. Then they will not express openly their feelings, they will keep it to themselves, because they will be worried how others will perceive and how others will look at them when they say something. And there is also very much of uncertainty about the group's purpose, who will be the leader of the group, what kind of structure they are going to follow, what is the purpose, what is the goal of the group. So everything is very uncertain in this stage. So here people are in the testing waters. So they're testing waters about what kind of behavior will be acceptable, whether they have to be very formal, whether they have to be very informal, or they have to be very casual. So they are just testing the waters and determining what behavior is acceptable in that particular group. And here, this stage will be complete when the members will start thinking of themselves as part of the group. That is when we feel that the forming stage is over, and we'll move to the next stage, which is the storming phase. Now, here people have got comfortable with each other, and once people get comfortable with each other, there the disagreements start. So, disagreements, they tend to get expressed among the group members in this stage, and there are feelings of anxiety, they will feel resentment. So all these things will also be expressed during that this stage. And here people will start assuming informal leadership roles also. They will start feeling that I am the leader of the group, I am the leader of the group. So the role clarity is also not there. And people will start accepting that there is this group, but at the same time there will be resistance among members in the group. There will be conflicts also, that who will control the group, who will be the leader. And this stage, the storming stage, will be over. So here the word that we use is disagreements, uncertainty, resistance. All these words, keywords, are associated with the stage storming. And here this stage will be over or complete when there will be a relative clarity on what will be the hierarchy of leadership in the group, who will lead the group. Next stage would be the norming stage. In the norming stage, we say that people now have come up with the resistance and they're got over with the resistance, and now they've started forming close relationship with each other. There's a cohesiveness amongst the members, and in this stage members roles get defined and they will assume different responsibilities among the group members. So they will know who will be the leader, who will be leading, who will be controlling, and what kind of behavior is acceptable in the group. So they will set their norms, they will try to attain cohesiveness, they will understand what are the goals, they will start making good decisions, they will start expressing their feelings openly, and they will try to resolve the different problems that are coming up in front of them. Here people will also the members will also start expressing their satisfaction, and there will be a confidence among the members of the group, because now there is clarity among who has to do what in the group, and people are comfortable expressing their feelings with each other. Next stage is performing. So once everybody gets comfortable, there's clarity, and people can express their feelings together, then only they can collaborate and they can integrate and they can perform well. So here people will have a group energy which moves from getting to know each other, understanding to each other, know each other, to performing to another level. Okay, so they have a task at hand, and together they all know how to get the work done. So here feelings are also expressed without any fear, and leadership roles are also clear among members who will be leading, and they are highly coordinated. The activities are highly coordinated, people are clear about their roles, and the performance level goes up. The satisfaction among members is high, and the pride and commitment to the group is also high in the performing stage. And once the task at hand is over, the last stage that comes or that has been added to this model is adjourning of the stage. Now, not every group or every group development goes through the adjourning phase, but some groups comes to the adjourning stage pretty relatively easier and faster, while some groups continue for a very very long time. So here the stage is characterized by wrapping up of activities. We are just closing the task at hand is complete, and we finish with the group. So here the group prepares for its disbandment, and attention it is directed towards finalizing the activities of the group. They start breaking off their bonds of affection and they stop interacting with each other. So for example, a group of college friends, they finish their college and then they move to their work life. So slowly and slowly they will be, the bonds will bonds of affection will decrease, the interaction will automatically decrease over a period of time. So that is basically the adjourning phase of their group. And responses of the group, they'll start varying in different in this particular state, and there will be pride in what the group has accomplished. They will remember it for a long time, what they have done together as a group. And some people, they might be negative and critical about how the group behaved, how the organization has treated them, and some may be sad over the loss of friendship gained during the life of those work groups. So there are different mixed feelings in this particular stage. Some might be happy, some might be negative, and some might be sad in the adjourning phase. So these are different stages of the group development. And let's understand what are the importance or the strengths and weaknesses of the group decision making. So when we work in a group, the strengths would be that we will get more information, more knowledge from different members of the group. There will be a diversity of views, because different everybody will have different views, so we can have a pool of different views of different people. There will be an increased acceptance of a solution when you are working together in a group, and we have a leader who will help achieve that acceptance of the solution. And since there are more people, so the decision making becomes more legitimate. We are more sure of the decision making because the group has taken the decision together. But the weakness at the same time is that the process of the whole group development and group decision making is time consuming, and there will be pressures to conform. That is, there might be some people who might be disagreeing with your decision, and some people might put up pressure on other members of the group to conform to those decisions. And there are domination by a few members in the group. Not everybody is being heard of in the group, so some of the people in the group might dominate the others. And the responsibility becomes ambiguous in the group, because people do not really take responsibility of the task as individuals. Here they put the blame on other individuals also, that if the task failed, then they might put the blame on other individuals in the group. So the responsibility becomes ambiguous in the group. These are some of the strengths and weaknesses of having working in a group. Now, when there is a difference between group and team also, so let's understand what exactly is a group and what exactly is a team. There's a slight difference. We usually use it interchangeably, but there is a slight difference. So one is that groups, they work together, but they will have individual or separate goals. um, Here the goals are separate, but they are related or joint interest. There's a joint interest that bring them together. Everyone is accountable for their own task and responsibilities. An example of a group would be, let's say, an airline crew. So here the airline crew might be having a pilot, and they might also be having a flight attendant. They all have their individual tasks. That is, the pilot has to fly it to all the way from one destination to another, and the attendants might be having a task of serving the customers well, or the flyers well. But at the same time, they have their own task and responsibility, but at the same time they also have a shared goal of reaching to the destination safely and taking care of all the flyers. So that would be one good example of a group. But when we talk about a team, here the team, in a team, everyone shares a common goal. They have a common goal, and everyone collectively succeeds or fails at reaching the goals. An example would be, let's say, a favorite sports team, where every player and even the coach needs to come together to win the game. So this is one example of a team where collectively everybody works together to achieve a common goal. So I hope you enjoyed this video and it was insightful and gainful for you. And thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.